Hello all. Well, what I'm going to do, it's probably a little bit late now. Other people have done probably a fair bit of it, but never mind. That is a Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa overview. I won't call it a full review because I'm not going to go into all the nitty-gritty details about it, but just some initial observations, and we'll see where we travel. I hope the video will be no longer than, say, about 15 minutes. But basically the target audience will be people who are new to Linux and haven't had a chance, I guess, to try Linux Mint. They might have tried Ubuntu or one of the other out-of-the-box distributions. I won't make the assumption that they're easy to use. That's a kind of individual thing. It all depends. But anyway, without further ado, I'll get on with it. So this is the welcome screen that you'll see on your first run. I've done the install, and this is just on an Intel machine with an AMD graphics card of, I think it's a 7870 gigahertz edition, so HD 7870 from AMD. So the compositing and things like that work out of the box, as you'll see very nicely there. But anyway, here are some of the things that the Linux Mint people would like to raise to your attention, or bring to your attention when you first run a Linux Mint. Key amongst these, obviously, the new features, documentation, apps, perhaps drivers, and then donations. I guess if you want to get involved in the community, you've got this stuff here, so forums, chat room, that sort of stuff. That's IRC, if any of you are not familiar with that. So yeah, this is pretty much yeah, a bit of a look-see at that. Anyway, what we have here is the task, like the lower panel and taskbar. Some of you who use Windows, former versions of Windows, and maybe even the current Windows 10. I mean, I haven't used Windows 10 yet, but the picture shots, the screenshots that I've seen, seems to use a sort of similar paradigm where you've got the this taskbar slash lower panel below. You've got the desktop environment actually is called Cinnamon, so it runs on GTK3, as does GNOME Shell, and well, the applications that run under GNOME, the current versions of GNOME 3 series, 3.x series, use GTK as their GUI tool, the graphical toolbox. So yep, we've got the menu here. You've got a nice little search thing here, so you can kind of search for applications. So for example, if I wanted to search for a terminal, I could find that nicely just like that. So you've got these are all organized. I imagine that as you install applications that don't quite fit into the mold here, that they'll be added. You've got this places in recent files, which will bring up the file explorer. So we'll just click on that. I apologize in advance actually that this isn't running on, so it doesn't, it just shows you that. Okay, so I apologize in advance. I'm actually running this off a mechanical drive. It's not on a virtual machine, but it is off a mechanical drive, so it'll be a little bit slower than if I were running it off solid state drive. So we've got some recent files. I've been just having a bit of a play around, actually using this as a sort of main machine for just a day, or main OS for just a day. Others would know that I use Linux from scratch normally with i3 installed. I don't run a display manager, so I just log in straight from the command prompt and do that. But that will be in another video. One of you has expressed interest in that, so that should come up soon. So let's actually go into here and see, like for example, documents. I'll click on that. I've got nothing in documents, but it brings up this this file manager. What's it called? So Nemo. So that's the custom file manager, probably forked from Nautilus, I think. Not sure, but probably forked from Nautilus. Yeah, so that's that. You can, if you go back one, you can see that they've got these preset, the ones with the special icons anyway, the preset locations that you might put things like documents, downloads, music videos, and stuff like that. You can see I've done a few little things here and there that are a little bit custom. I'm hoping actually to show you before this video closes, if it's not too long, just some modifications that I made to the graphical desktop, but we'll explore that in a moment. So as many of you know, Linux Mint is Ubuntu based. There is a version of it that's based on Debian, which in turn Ubuntu is based on as well. So what have we got here? We've got some basic tools that we can use. So an archive manager, that's compression and decompression of files. Calculator, I mean nothing to speak of here, pretty simple stuff there. Probably has scientific mode in there and stuff like that. Character map if you need to find special characters. It's kind of like the symbol manager. I don't remember what they call it, but probably do call it car map or something like that in Windows. Disks, I imagine you can just sort of have a look at those. I don't think you might be able to do anything to them, I'm not sure. More actions available. Oh, we can. Look at that. Isn't that great? And we can do some smart tests. Smart tests are for like checking out for early signs of data failure, or sorry, rather disk failure. So you can have a look at those. You can see what I've got there. That pretty much matches what I've got there, but except for the Blu-ray drive. Anyway, moving on. Accessories, we've got the events document viewer. Don't know if it's called events these days, probably is. Pretty simple. I happen to use one called Mu PDF, which is pretty minimalistic compared to this. Minimalist, I should say. What else have we got? Files, yeah, so let's just bring up the file manager, which is really that Nemo again. So we'll just drop that and drop that. Okay, I probably can get rid of this. By the way, if you don't want this to show up, next time you log in, you can just click this. So we'll just make that happen now. Yeah, so screen read. I mean, we've got some accessibility sort of stuff, yeah, going on there. Screenshots, terminal. I mean, I don't know how often a person who uses Mint day to day will be going to the terminal. I'm not going to cast aspersions there about that, but yeah, I mean, you know, everyone knows that. Well, everyone I recommend should know the terminal. So get in and have a look at that. And probably while we're at it, we can actually look at the kernel version. Okay, so it is using an earlier kernel version. I believe there is one in the repo, but I reckon it might not play nicely with FGLRX, which is the Catalyst driver from AMD. Your choice whether you want to use that driver or not. I tend not to use it unless I really have to. Yeah, so got the normal array of things going on here. Graphics, some pretty simple. There's an editor, which is the GIMP. Everyone should know the GIMP. Let's have a look at that. So it looks like it organises our photos. I don't have any photos on here. Simple scan, which is really nice little simple scanner. I have used Xsane before, which is something, you know, it's a bit more involved to use, but pretty cool nonetheless. Internet, so we've got the web browser, which is the Firefox web browser. You might have known it if you use Debian or something like that. Debian. That's Iceweasel under that. HexChat, which is I guess an alternative to XChat. XChat has some issues actually compiling on other platforms, like I think Windows. The author or something wants people to pay for it. But anyway, we've got HexChat here. We've got Pigeon Internet Messenger, and we've got Thunderbird and Transmission. I think I don't know. You can have a look at the website to have a look at these. I probably don't want to show you my personal contacts there. We've got the LibreOffice. LibreOffice is actually cool. They've themed it up. The LibreOffice 5 here. One thing I don't like, you see that orange bit here? They could have customised that to sort of more fit in with the general green and grey theme. They still haven't done it. It's because it comes from the Ubuntu repository, I guess, with some customisations during compile. So they really, just as a consistency thing, want to maybe look at that. You can see here the theme is customised to sort of fit in again with that. So they've customised the theme here, but just not the splash screen theme with the loading bar. But yeah, that's looking pretty nice. It's starting to look quite mature, isn't it? Really, as a tool. I mean, it's always been pretty mature from when I've used it, when it was Star Office and Open Office, but now LibreOffice is looking pretty nice, looking pretty clean. So we've got the other normal array of applications. I should actually tell you while we're talking about this that to a limited extent, LibreOffice Calc can actually run VBA macros, but that's a setting for another time, I guess, but you can actually change a setting, and it'll support some of the syntax and semantics of VBA. But yeah, you can see this nice interface, nice, really clean interface. And that's what's really important to new users, I guess, is that the interface, it looks pretty and it's functional. I wouldn't recommend i3 for a new user, but it tends to have a different feel to it. i3 does. All those tiling window managers do. So Banshee is for managing your music. I think it might be written in mono, not sure. Brasero, which is for writing discs. So you can write CDs, DVDs. I don't know if you can write Blu-rays yet. Let's see if it offers it. Yeah, it's not offering Blu-ray support, but I don't know how true that is. I mean, you'd think that in this day and age you should be able to write a non-protected Blu-ray. There's a tool called CD Record, which on most distros isn't included because of some licensing issues. I should show you that sometime. It's a command line tool, but you can find that things like K3B can actually hook into CD Record. It's actually called CDR Tools. The whole package is called CDR Tools, but it has actually CD Record for the burning. You've got LibreOffice Draw in there, but otherwise, let's get off topic and back onto topic. We've got videos. It's kind of interesting. They've got this videos here, which are probably Totem, and they've got the VLC media player here. VLC is based on Qt and has some own libraries, and plus FFmpeg as a backend, I believe. Let's have a look at videos and see if it actually is. Is it Totem? No, it's got videos, but it's from the Totem website. Cool. And you probably Totem tends to use the GStreamer framework, whereas I believe VLC uses the FFmpeg framework. So we'll just run up that. Yeah, and let's have a look. I have used a 3.00 testing version, so yeah, we'll get on with that. Maybe talk about that another time. Administration, look, you guys ought to have a look in here. This is kind of neat where you download like a deb file or something like that. You can actually run up the package manager, install the deb. I did a bit of that for my little theme customization exercise, which I'll show you soon. We have the login window, new login, and you can manage printers there. I actually tend to do this instead of doing that. I tend to do this, which is kind of cool. Let's just bring up the web browser, and I'll go like this. Let's have a look at the local host. And 631 is the port that Cups hangs off, so we'll just do that, and then you can actually manage Cups from there, which is the real back end. So this is a nice little GUI front end, but the real stuff is in here. So we'll close that, get rid of that. Great. So yeah, now let's get into the software manager. I think it's got some interesting features here that have come about. Look at this. Do you want to switch to a local mirror? That's really handy. Apparently it tests it pretty robustly to find out which is the best mirror to go from. So we'll just go OK here. And I'm going to put in the password as it's asking for. OK. Now I think it's just going to see. Okay, it's not gonna. I thought it was meant to test. Here we go. Here's where that tests. So, what about this one? Oh, University of Canterbury looks like it's winning out. So we'll go with that guy. Apparently they made the run of it a little longer, just to find the best repository. So it's not just based on latency, it's also about throughput. Let's see how we go with this. You see how, look at this, it's very nice. It's actually finding out what's fast. We'll probably end up using that one, I'm guessing. We're starting to get pretty fast there. We're topping out. This internet connection that I'm on at the moment will top out at about 20 megabits per second, so that's about 13 megabits per second there. I know it says megabytes per second, it's the multiply by 8 factor going on there. And I honestly think we will just go on here. One thing you might want to remember when considering that which repo you use is some ISPs have their local mirror, which means you'll get it for quota free when affect your quota. But anyway, we'll just apply that, and we will update the cache. Let's have a look. We can see what individual files are being updated. Okay, just to give you a bit of a feel for the package management. You can use command line tools, but I don't know how that will tie in nicely. If you use apt or aptitude or something like that, apt-get, I'm not sure how that will fit in, because Linux Mint tends to hold back certain packages, so I don't know if that would actually prevent or enable the holding back of packages. But that seems to have worked, so let's close that now and we'll do a refresh. I would have thought there'd be more packages. I mean, it's been a while since this has been released. As I said at the start, I'm running a bit late compared to like the likes of Infinitely Galactic. Maybe it only wants to update its package manager before it gets a chance to, so that Mint update, so this Linux Mint update manager. Anyway, let's install the update, see how fast. It's asking for my password again. Would have thought it would remember that. That could get annoying for a new user. Okay, so reasonably secure password. I mean, this, I'll blow this install away after I've shown you this stuff. Okay, now look at that, we've got a few updates after that. So all you have to do is go install updates and it'll begin to do that. And it's asking for the password again. I don't know if it gives the option to remember the password or anything like that. So alright, and then let's have a look at that and see if that is really waiting for that nice download rate to. So that's not bad, it's chosen the best repository, and it's going to take about a minute. We can just leave that for now. So yeah, let's move on. So yeah, you got some preferences here. There was the desklets. I found that pretty cool. It's kind of like KDE. What you can do is you can add a desklet. You got this right-click context menu, and I believe you can add some other desklets. But you can just basically add that to desktop, add to desktop, add to desktop. Okay. You can also remove them all in one hit. We'll do that in a moment. But you can just put this little guy here can be customized. So we'll go edit launcher, and instead of doing custom, we'll just go application, because it then pre-fills out all of this. So we go terminal. Let's see what it says. No, it doesn't like it. We'll do GNOME terminal. GNOME terminal. Yeah, and you see, go like that, and then we can just click that, and we get the GNOME terminal. Obviously, clock here. I'm sure you can probably customize the date settings, but we're not going to go into that. And this is just a little photo thing. I haven't got any photos on here, but maybe I do. Let's have configure. No. So where's the folder? So it's just installing that software at the moment, and it seems to have taken over that. Let's just hopefully minimize that. So let's see, what have we got here? Downloads. Let's see if we can. So there's the little hint here. I've done a little bit of change, like a little few changes here and there. Maybe I just have to click downloads. There you go. You'll see how it's going to cycle through some of those little wallpapers that I've downloaded. But oh yes, and what I was going to say is just you can just remove all, which is what we'll do. And goodbye. What a nice smooth transition. It's very. So far it's very attractive. Sorry if there's just a little bit of noise in the background. I am at home with family and whatnot. So basically that's it. I think what we should do now is take a look at how you can customize it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type themes in here. Now I've downloaded some themes from I think it's GNOME Look, and some wallpapers and things like that I found around the web. Now I used to use Open Solaris on and off, and I should have really, when I did my video on Open Solaris, I guess I focused so much on the appearance because it was just so damn attractive to me. I shouldn't have. It should have been on the technical aspects like dtrace and ZFS and all that sort of good stuff. But I didn't. But one thing that has never been lost on me is the attractiveness. Now, we've moved on since to GTK3 based desktops, not GTK2, unless of course you're using, what is it called? Mate. That's right, Mate. But we're not using Mate here today, we're using Cinnamon. So we're going to do some customizations to make it look a little bit more like the old school Open Solaris with the Nimbus theme. What we'll do is we're going to change the desktop. And now I've already installed these. You can look for them on GNOME Look, and if you really want it, I'll make some notes about it, but unless anyone asks for it, I won't bother. But we'll just Now that's just changed that theme on the bottom here to that, and you'll find some things that really haven't changed yet, but we'll try and see what we can do. So I've put in that look at that, that's starting to look a little bit Nimbusy, isn't it? Now where are we? Nimbus. Now we'll get the icons changing. Yeah, very nice. Controls, and we go like that. Look at that. We're starting to look really, really cool there. Now that I don't think we'll bother with changing. We can actually, I might just change that for argument's sake. That's pretty cool. Alrighty. Now, now I need to change that wallpaper. So we'll change the wallpaper. Now, how did I do that before? Change desktop background. You see the colours have changed also in the. They're just using those nice themes. So I've got the downloads here, and what we'll do is we'll just choose one that doesn't have the Open Solaris or Open Indiana theming. We can also choose that one. It's looking pretty Solaris-y, or even that one, which is looking very old school Solaris. But we will choose that one for now, and then finally we'll just change this. We'll configure that. Now we can choose a custom icon, which I've selected previously, and let's have a looky here. Now I had changed this and it's not showing up. Let's try that again. By the way, it's already just said that everything's up to date, my system's up to date, which is a bit of a shame because I'm going to end up blowing away this install, as I said. But let's see if we can find that. It might. That's a bit of a bug too, by the way. I would have thought that once I click on that again, that it would change back to the one that I had the icon I'd previously selected, but it hasn't. No big deal. We'll just find it again. So you'll find, I don't know if you know this, but you can find your icons and themes and things like that in /user/share, and we'll look in, as it says, icons. In fact, I could probably type it in here. Yeah, like that. And double click, and we'll go into Nimbus. So we'll just type in Nimbus. And the aim here anyway is to kind of use Cinnamon to look just like the old school Solaris look, which hopefully those guys over at Open Solaris, or sorry, Open Indiana, get a release out soon. It'd be nice. But anyway, places, and we finally get that GNOME main menu. So GNOME. Oh, I might have to just look for it. Here we go. Oh, now that's interesting. That has actually changed the menu from the one that I had. So what we'll do is we'll just copy it over. Let's have a look. I probably, I'm running a little bit over, but look at that nice theming. Very, very attractive. So anyway, let's go and have a look in there. Where is that going to be? First of all, let's escalate. So let me think. Oh yeah, that's right. Now I downloaded some stuff here, and we might be able to find the icons. CD Nimbus icons, and let's go CD high resolution, CD PNG. No, so it's not in here. Might have to find it. Let's have a look. So, well, we might as well do a tutorial on finding while we're at it. So we'll go find here under name, GNOME main menu.png. Wow. So what I might need to do is I might need to install those icons again. GNOME icon. Yeah, so that's not the ones. Those are not the ones that I want. I did have a .deb file that I might have might not have kept. Let's see, ls/temp. Yeah, it's deleted them since last reboot, which is kind of sane and normal. Well, that's a bit of a pitter, isn't it? Oh, let's just go and have a look and see if I can find it. Yeah. Let's have a look. So, Nimbus GTK3. This is how I found it. So, as you can see by the purple background of those links. Now, where are the icon theme? So let's download that. Instead this time, I'm actually going to save it. So it takes us to some Google account and Google repository, and we will save that. Not that it matters, just give that a tick. And you can see, look at that nice theming. It's come up with a nice orange theming. As I say, you can have a look in here in this. I'm basically teaching how to do it. So let's just reinstall that package. So there are a few dependencies that you'll need to meet in the repository, which I've done when the debs failed. Yeah, cool. So it's installed. And there you go. Look at that. That icon has actually updated. So it wasn't a bug. It was just that it was missing the relevant icon. So just watch out for that, I guess, if you're installing this thing. But look at this. Nice old school site look. In fact, if you're I should actually just use that. If you were to look at this, you wouldn't even know. So another thing, by the way, you might be asking is, where the hell am I running the screen recorder from? I'm actually running it from TTY1. So just told it to run off the desktop. So I might have to show you how to do that sometime as well. Anyway, what would I rate this? I mean, the goal is to be an easy to use distribution. I didn't find any applications crashed. It was stable. Didn't scare me at all. It auto-configured the network. If I go into here, you see it actually auto-configured my printer. I've got a printer that hangs off my Raspberry Pi. It's just a USB based printer, that's why it does that. So it gives me network access to the printer. But yeah, and that's probably another tutorial for another time. Anyway, look, I can't really fault it. I really can't fault it. It's honestly, it's probably for the end user. I mean, it had I did disable Flash, but Flash was installed. But even then, when I go into YouTube.com, even though I've disabled that, I mean, they say that they provide all the plugins and stuff like that. I have disabled that, but still, any of these things would actually work. So if I go Linux 3D, that's another channel. It's a mate of mine. But if I were to do that, you'd find that it shouldn't. And there we go. So we'll just stop that there because we don't want any ads. But yeah, that looks like everything really works out of the box. I mean, as I said, all of these applications I've had a bit of a look through, and they all seem to work. They work quickly, even though I'm running off a mechanical drive. I'd have to give this really a 10 out of 10. Honestly, it's a very good distribution, and I mean, I can't really fault them. The only thing I can say is a few finesse things, like, you know, that theming on the splash screen is for LibreOffice. That's a bit of a negative. That's been around for ages too. They could have really fixed that. So, but I mean, really, I mean, it's just an aesthetics thing. I don't think it'd freak the user out at all. So ultimately, I think really 10 out of 10. Fantastic work, Mint team. So I look forward to this. This is an LTS release, by the way. I think it's going to be supported until 2019. And anyway, if you're looking for more information, you can actually just click on there and go to the Linux Mint page and find out more about their other spins. They've got some KDE spins and XFCE spins and stuff like that you might want to have a look at. Just remember, they are not as, I wouldn't say well supported, but maybe not as bug free, not as how shall we say, polished as the cinnamon version. I mean, the cinnamon version's great, but I have kind of modified it a fair bit to make it the way I like it to look, but nonetheless, fantastic. So as I say, easy to use distro, and I recommend you try it. So yep, 10 out of 10. Great work. Anyway guys, subscribe if you like this video, and put any requests for other videos in the comments. Alright guys, catch ya. Bye.